Hello there everyone, it's Ravindra here. In this video we will create .NET Core web APIs along with MySQL database. And I already have created this video in the past, but that time I have used EF Core, and in this video we are not going to use EF Core and we will use dapper instead of EF Core in this video. If you find this video helpful, then please hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe this channel to get more videos like this. So let's get started without any delays. So first and foremost, we will create a database. I am inside the MySQL workbench. It is a default editor that is installed with MySQL 8. And here we will create our database. So just gonna write create database person db, and here just execute this guy. And now we'll use this database, and inside it we will create a new table. So I'm just gonna write here. So it is a table we are going to create. It have just 3 fields: id, primary key with auto increment, name, it is a varchar 50, and another one is email, which is a varchar 50 also, and the both of fields are not null. So I'm just gonna execute these things. Okay, so I have done some mistake here, so now we are fine. And yeah, we have created this table, and we can just check it like this: select asterisk from person. So just execute this guy, and you can see that we have some data here. Sorry, we have a table without any data here. Now we are going to use this database and this table in our .NET Core project. So I am here inside the Visual Studio. Sorry, it is not a Visual Studio, it is a Visual Studio code editor. And one thing you have to do is you have to install this package, sorry, extension, C# dev kit extension. Okay, so now we can create a .NET Core project from here. So I'm just going to click on this, create a .NET project, and here we have various projects. So I'm going to go with ASP.NET Core empty. So just click on this guy, and here I am going to select some location. So I'm going to go here inside the projects, and here .NET, and let me choose, yeah, this one. Okay, so here we are going to create our project. So it will take a little bit time, and here something will pop out. Okay, that thing popped out. So here we will name our project. So it will be .NET MySQL dapper. Yeah, it's a weird name, but it will make me easy to identify my projects in repository, GitHub repository. So we will go with this name, and here press enter. Okay, so when you create a project, you will see here it is our project, but we have installed C# dev kit extension, so you are able to see this solution explorer here. And here we have this one project, so it is just a blank .NET Core project. So here we will create one more project. So I will click on this plus sign here in the solution explorer, and here I will just click on this guy, and here I am going to create a class library project. So it will be our data access. So I'm just gonna name it just name it data access. That's it, and default directory. It will create a new project inside this solution. Yeah, it has already created. So you can see that we have this project, and I'm going to create this class1.cs file. And now what we will do here, we will reference this project to our API project. So here you will see some option, add project reference, yeah, and it will be reference to data access. Now we have referenced our data access to this API project. Now what we will do here, the first thing, we are going to create a connection string here. So let me a little bit zoom in. Okay, so here connection strings, and let's just name it default, and here we will define our connection string. So first thing will be our server, and that server is local host. Next thing is our database, which is person db, and next thing is user id, and user id will be root, and password equals to, it is my password. So yeah, that's it. So we have successfully created our connection string here. Now we will install some packages. So go here in the view section and click on this terminal. It also have the shortcut here, which is control plus this backtick sign. So just click here, and we need to change the default directory. So cd, it will be data access, where we are going to install our packages. So first package we will install dotnet add package. It will be dapper, and next package will be, let's just finish it. Okay, so next package will be mysql data. Okay, so next package will be mysql data, and previous one was dapper. And the last package we are going to install this one, microsoft extensions configurations, sorry, not s configuration abstractions. Okay, so just click here and it will be installed shortly. So this package is needed for accessing our app setting.json file, because we want to access our connection string in this library project. So we need this package for that. Okay, so we are done with installation, and now I can come out of this repository, sorry, this folder. Okay, so we are done here. So, and to what we should do now, we will create a folder here, add new folder, and it will be models, and inside this folder we will create a new file. So it will be a class, and let's name it person. Okay, now it is created, and here just change it to namespace data access dot models. Okay, now let's see what we can do. Now let's create some properties here. So just type here prop double tap and id. Next thing will be string, it will be name. Next thing will be email. So we are going to validate these data. For that we are going to use required keyword here and required keyword here also. Okay, let's make one more validation here. Let's just name it max length and 50, and same here. Okay, we can validate one more thing here. It should be email. So just type here email address. Now we have done pretty much good validation here. Okay, so it is not nullable property. Max length will be 50. It is also not nullable property, and it will have email address validation, and its max length will be 50. Okay, now we will create one more folder here in the data access project. So if I click here, you can see that we have the csproj file, and it will define which package we have installed. So we have installed 3 packages: dapper, mysql.data, and the last one is microsoft.extensions.configuration.abstractions. Okay, so let's close this guy, and here we will create another folder. Let's name is repositories. Inside this repositories we will create one class, and it will be person repository. That's it. And here we have to change this namespace to repositories. Okay, so that's it. Now here we will create a constructor ctor, and let's remove this guy. Okay, now we will do some configuration here. First of all, we need I configuration, and it will add this line here: I configuration config it should be private read only. Next thing, we will need a string type connection string. So I'm just going to type here connection string. Okay, and we have to type it here also: I configuration config, and here we just write config equals to config and connection strings equals to config dot get connection strings default. Okay, so we are done with the connection string section. Now what we will do here, we will create few methods. So first one will be public async, and this one will be task I person, sorry, not I person, I enumerable person get people async. Okay, it is a valid name. Okay, now here we will create one private method, private idb connection get connection, and here it will return idb, sorry, using idb connection. And we are using this keyword using because it will automatically open the connection, and it will automatically dispose the connection, so we do not need to worry about disposing the connection. Private, no, using idb connection equals to mysql client sorry I guess it is something like new mysql. Oops, it should be small, SQL connection. Okay, and here we will pass the connection string. So that's how it will look, and we will return this connection. Okay, so now here we will write var connection equals to get connection, and string ql equals to select id comma name comma email from person. It will be our query. Here we will just write connection dot execute SQL query async. Here we will pass person. Here we will pass SQL query, and that's it. And it should be var people equals to await. Now we will return this people. Okay, so it is get people async, and it will be get people by id async, and here we will pass id. Okay, so here we will write where id equals to id. That's it. It should be the same id. Okay, and here new id. That's it. So it is our get people by async. No, it is not. It will return an object, not a enumerable. So here should be query first or default async. Now we are good. So it is our get people async, get this, and now what we will do here, we will create another method. So I'm just going to copy in this line, and it will be create person async, and here we will just pass person. Okay, so now here we will just write string query equals to insert into person name email values equals to name and email. Okay, now connection equals, sorry, not equals to, here should be await connection dot execute scalar async, and here we will do one more thing. After the semicolon we will execute one more line, so it will be select and select, okay, last insert id. Okay, so it will return the recently created identity value. Now here we will pass this query, and here we will pass some data, so it will be new, and here we will pass person dot, oops, it should be small person dot name person dot email. Okay, since we are using two parameters here, name and email, that's why we are passing it like this. It is anonymous object, person dot name and email. Since we are using name here, that's why we are using name here. We are using email here, that's why we are using email here. That's how the parameter works in the dapper. Okay, now let's just say what should we do now. And yeah, last thing we are going to do is we are going to store it here. So string, no, it should be int id equals to this. Let's just name it created id, and here we will pass id, sorry, int. So now we have our created id which we have recently created. What we can do here, we can just do person dot id equals to created id, and we will return this person object. Okay, so we have passed this person object which do not have any id, and here we have inserted a record and got the id from that record, and we have stored that id in the created id field, and here we are just updating person.id with created id, and we are returning it here. So it is our create person async. Next thing we will do is update. So let's say name it update person async. So update query will be different and everything will be different here. So yeah, right now we will just do update and name of table person, set name equals to name and email equals to email, where id equals to @id, and now we will just write here await connection dot execute async, and here we will pass query and we will pass an object person. So this person contains three fields, id, email and name. So we can pass this whole object because it's just have three fields, and these fields should be same with these fields, name, email and id, and those fields must be present in this object, and those are presents. You can see here we have same field here, id, name and email, and those fields should be matched with these fields, name, @name, @email and @id, otherwise you will get errors. Now we have done our update person async. The last query we will write is for delete. So just name it delete person async, and here we will just pass id, int id. Just write delete from person where id equals to @id, and here new id. So this field and this field should be matched, id and id. So we have deleted our person. That's good. The next thing we will do here is we will create a new file, and it will be an interface, and it will be I person repository. That's it. should be named with repositories, and here we will do something. So let's hit shrink. Now let's copy this thing and paste this thing here. Okay, now we will do the same. So I have copied all the names 1 2 3 4 5. So all these 5 methods should be present here, and I have copied it from here. Now what we will do, we will inherit this interface here. Hi person repository, and we are good. Now what we will do, we will just go here in the program.cs file, and here we will just write builder dot services dot add what it is, add transient and person repository person repository. That's it. It should be like this. Okay, so we have successfully added these services to di container. To use the dependency injection, we have to write this line, so do not forget to include this line. Okay, and here we are just using the minimal APIs, but we will use the controller based APIs. For that we will do some configuration. Let's see, just run this project. So let's see how it is going. So click on this debugger, and here we will see run and debug. So we are just going to select this .NET 5 and .NET Core, and it will not work. So we have to click on this create a launch.json file. Click on this .NET 5 plus and .NET Core, and it will create this file. So it will create this file. You can see it here somewhere here. Yeah, here, launch.json file. Okay, so now we have created this file. Just click on this run icon, and it will run our project. So right now you can see this hello world here, and we are not going to use it like this. Okay, so here we are going to remove this line, and you can remove or you can leave it like this. It's totally up to you. So I'm just going to comment this line. Okay, now we have to do a little bit setting here. First thing, we are going to call builder.services.add controller, add controllers, and here we are going to map controllers. Now we will be able to use controller based APIs. For that, inside the mysql dapper project, it is our API project, and here we will create a folder. It will be controllers. Inside the controllers, we will create a new class. Since controller is a class, so we are going to create a class, and let's name it person controller. That's it, and here press enter. Okay, so our class has been created. Let's change it to controllers. Okay, public class person controller. Now it will inherit a class base controller, controller base, and that will include this package here. or namespace. Sorry, in C# it is namespace. Okay, so one last thing, just type here route, and our route will be API/people. That's it. And here we will write controller method. I think I have created this snippet, so it is not a default feature of Visual Studio Code. I have created this snippet for creating a method, so let's name it get, just get. Okay, and here, oops, and here type http get, just right here hello, and let's see our APIs are working fine or not. So I'm going to run this project, and here we will write something API/people, and you will see hello. So our APIs are working pretty fine. Let's close this guy, we do not need it. Okay, now we'll create all the methods here. But first we will inject our repository here. So it will be private read only and I person repository person repo. That's it, and we will copy this thing in the constructor. So just create a constructor here, ctor double tap, and just copy this thing here, person repo. That's it. So add one line here, person repo equals to person repo, and here one more thing, we're going to use the default logger of Microsoft, so it will be person repository, and it should be like this logger. Okay, and here logger equals to logger. Oops, just copy this guy here and paste it here, logger. Now we are good. Okay, so here we will just type try catch. Okay, we'll just return okay, and here we will write exception ex and logger dot log ex dot message. It should be log error, and here we will return status code codes codes. It is a enum dot 500 internal 500 server error, whatever it is, 500 internal server error. And we will also pass anonymous object here, which will contain status code equals to 500 and message equals to ex dot message. Okay, return status code, not context. Okay, so we are fine now, and here should be a semicolon, And now var people equals to await and person repo dot get people async. That's it. So it is our get method. Now we will create few more methods. So here just copy this guy and paste it here, and we will change it to like this. It will also accept our ID, and here we will also pass ID. Okay, and it will be person, not people. Get people by ID async, we will pass ID, and we will get a person here. We'll pass this person here. So we will check one more thing. First I'm going to copy this line. Okay, we will check whether it exists or not. So if person equals to null, then we will return not found exception, and here we will pass this object. And here person does not exist. That's it. Oops, code should be 404. Okay, now we'll pass. We will check if a person exists or not here. If it does not exist, we will return a 404 not found status along with this data. Otherwise we will pass this person, and here we are just logging the exception. Okay, now what should we do? Just copy this line and paste this line here, and it should be post http post person create person async, and we will pass person as an object. Person it should be created person. So we will get a newly created person, and we will pass it here and press control dot here and click on using data access dot models. So now we have successfully created it, but we will return not okay. We will return the created at action, and here we will just pass name of post. That's it. So it will return 201 status code. It means created a resource. One more thing here, we will use http put here, put. So it should be http person and update person async. We will pass a person, and it will not return anything, so it's just gonna pass it await, and here await. Yeah, that's fine. Oops, we already have await here. So here we will just pass no content, so it will return a 204. But here we will also check if person exists or not. So I'm gonna copy this line here. So let's name it existing person, existing person, and here we will pass person dot id. That's it. First we are checking if person exists or not. If it does not exist, then we will return not found. Otherwise we will update a person here. Oh sorry, where it is. Yeah, I have copied it in the wrong place. Sorry, I have messed with it. I'm just going to copy this guy, not this guy. Let me copy this guy from here to here. Okay, now we are fine, and we will paste it here, and it will be person dot id. Okay, so okay, what is going on here? First of all, it is our put API, and here we are checking if a person exists or not. So first we will find the person. If it is null, then we will return this not found along with this object, and here otherwise we will update our person and we will return no content. Here it is just exception handling. So we have one last method remained, so it should be like this: http delete. Here we will pass http delete, and here we will pass id. Okay, now we will check if a person exists or not, but first it will get an id as a parameter, and here we will pass the id. So first we will check if person exists or not. If it does not exist, we will return not found, and otherwise we will delete this person. So person repo dot delete person async, and here we will pass the id. So we have created all the 5 methods. So now we will test them with Postman. And before running this project, I have noticed something, that I haven't passed anything to this OK object. Sorry, this OK method. So we need to pass these people here. I hope we are doing good. So let's run this application. So just click here and here. So our project has been started. So we will move here in the Postman, and here I am going to test this endpoint. So it is a get method, and here we are calling this endpoint. So press on the send button and let's wait. So here we have 200 status code, and we have blank current. That is because we do not have any record yet. So we will create a new record here, and I'm going to open the new tab here, and here I'm just going to paste this endpoint, and we will use the post method, and inside this body we will change it to JSON, and here we will pass some data. So let's pass some JSON object. We do not need to pass id, so we will just pass a name, and name will be John, and email will be john@gmail.com. so let's hit it and let's see. Yeah, and here we have the error, column name cannot be null, and I wonder why we are having this column null. So let's see where is our post method here. So let's put a breakpoint here, and I'm gonna hit it again, and so we will stop here. Okay, now I can check that what we are getting inside this. Okay, so we are not getting anything here. HTTP post, it's a post method. Okay, let me think what is happening here. Okay, I have done some research behind the scenes. Now I'm back to the recording. So what I was missing here is I was not using API controller. So that thing I was missing. Let's run this project again and let's see. So now let's go here and let's post this data. Let's see, do we have any breakpoint here? And you can see that we have our data. So let's remove this breakpoint and let's run this guy. So we have created this object id1, which is auto generated name and email. Now let's create another record here. Let's put my name here. So yeah, so this one also has created. Let's create another record here and it's with id3. So let's go here and let's run here. So now we have 3 records. If I try like this, it is a third record, and if I pass 4, so here you can see that we have 404 not found, and here is the status code also 404 not found. So let's do one thing here and let's try to update this record. So I'm gonna put here this put method, and since we are updating the data, so we need to pass the id, and that is 3. And here let's name it Mike, and let's change its email to mike@gmail.com. okay, so 204 no content, it means we are fine here. So if I remove this guy, you can see that we have 3 records. Third one is mike@gmail.com. We can also check it like this. So one last thing has remained. We need to check this delete endpoint. So first let's check the 5th endpoint, and you can see we have 404 not found error here. So let's delete the third record, and you can see that here we have 204 no content. It means we have successfully deleted our data. Now if I run it again, you will see that we do not have this resource anymore. So let's go here to the get endpoint, and you can see that record with id3 does not exist anymore, and here also. So we have successfully tested all the endpoints, and that's how we can create our .NET Core applications with mysqls and using dapper. So that's it for now. See you next time.